She decided to help him by cleaning, where the trust she had on her father was so much evident. And the second one is, they both have fun and thrilling adventure while fighting with a dragon. I liked this book because it teaches about being brave, keeping trust all the time, and how to avoid telling lies. The one and only dislike in this book is about the lies that her catty's father said to her, and all the subsequent lies has been making to cover it up. This makes kids to think whether it is okay to lie, which is not good. I choose this book because it is an easy because fought against it. Some of the vocabulary words are chortled, staggered, chucked, burping, confession, flabbergasted. I think everyone who read this book would already felt the need of being brave, even though we are not going to fight with dragons, but our bravery can be used to make this world a better place to live in. I recommend this book to children who are 5 to 8 years old. Since I give 5-star rating to this book, since it is important to other children who are reading to learn about the courage. I enjoyed reading this book as it is very funny and adventurous. Thank you.
I am Harshavardhanan from grade 8, here to give a review on the book How to Live 124 Hours a Day. This book was written by Arnold Bennett by Manographics Publications in the year 2013. Arnold Bennett was an English author who was born in 27 May 1867. He was known as the best novelist. He was also a prolific writer from start of his career to his death. He started his career in 1898. He wrote 34 novels, 7 volumes of short stories for more than 100 different newspapers. He also ran the Ministry of Information in the First World War. Some of his other famous books are The Unknown Fight Towns, The Human Mission, Buried Alive, etc. Sales of his books were more during that time itself, and he was the most financially successful British author of his day. Bennett did not work for him. He worked for his father before moving to London as a clerk. At that time, he was 21 age. He became an assistant editor to a women's magazine, and later he became the main editor of the same women's magazine. He became the full-time author in 1900. He died in 27 March 1931. This book contains 112 pages, which includes 12 chapters. Out of these 12 chapters, I was inspired by 9 chapters. Let me list it out. The Daily Miracle, Precautions Before Beginning, The Desire to Exceed One's Program, The Cause of Trouble, Reflective Mood, Interest in Arts, Nothing in Life is Humdrum, Serious Reading, and Dangers to Avoid. Let me start from the first, The Daily Miracle. In this chapter, the author clearly explains about the time in our day-to-day life. Many say that money is more important than time. Many say that money is more precious than time. Money, money, money. They work for money. But no, time is very precious than money. Money is not important than time. The author gave a small difference between money and time, which gives a huge impact in our day-to-day life. If money goes, it comes back again. But whenever time goes, it doesn't ever return back. This is a small difference between money and time, but it gives a huge impact in our day-to-day life. And many ask for easy way to do every works in a day. They don't know how to manage every works in a day. They can't do every works in a day. But there is no easy way to do every works in a day. If we use the time properly, that's the easy way to do every works in a day. Also, in this 24 hours, that means in a day, we have to rotate health, pressure, money, content, given to us. Whenever we feel that the task given to us is beyond our skill, we must not take on the task. We must take tasks which is suitable to our skill and which can be done by our skill. We must not take tasks which is not suitable to our skill and which cannot be done by our skill. We must not overrate our powers. And my third chapter is precautions before beginning. In this chapter, the author clearly explains about the time we use in a day and time left in a day. We don't have more time. We just have 24 hours in a day. We must use the 24 hours properly. This 24 hours may go in a second or may go in a minute, so that we must use the time properly. As I already said, there is no easy way to do every work in a day. But I can help you with a small tip which helps us to make the work easier. We can make a timetable and follow the timetable every day in a proper manner, so that we can do every work in a day and we can complete that task. And my first question rises up here. Are we using the time properly? No, never. We don't ever use the time properly. We are just wasting the time. Many do not accept this. They say that I work for 10 hours, I'm working for 11 hours. But no. The author gave a small example to prove this. Let's keep that a man works for 10 hours and sleeps for 8 hours. So, the time he uses properly is just 18 hours. Remaining 6 hours, where does it go? He's just wasting the time and he's just letting the time to go off. He's not thinking that if time goes, it doesn't ever return back. If we use the time properly, we can achieve something. Also, my second doubt is whether we want 6 days in a week or 7 days in a week. The author suggests that we want only 6 days in a week, because we are not going to use the time in the 7th day. We are going to waste the time in the 7th day. We are just letting the time to go off in the 7th day, so that we must to prevent this, we must extend our work to our wish. We must not extend our work to others' wish. We must extend our work to our wish and complete that task. Whenever if we calculate totally, nearly 12 hours is a waste time in the 7th day. I repeat, nearly 12 hours is a waste time in the 7th day. So that we must use the 12 hours properly by doing other activities which we like, whatever we like. Also, whenever we do other activities, we perform a miracle too in this 12 hours. We can perform a miracle also. Also, when we do something new, that means we are in a change of habitat. In this case, we are in change of habit to maintain time properly. This change of habit helps us to help in the future also to maintain time properly. And my next chapter is the cause of trouble. Let's keep that a man works for 16 hours. So, remaining 8 hours are there. So, whatever he does in that 8 hours is known as his attitude. If he uses that 8 hours properly, that means he gains that 8 hours. If he doesn't use that 8 hours properly, which means he loses the 8 hours. Many say that I don't know how to do every work in a day. But no, everyone are losing time who cannot do every work in a day. Everyone are losing time because they think that time is very easy. They're not thinking that if time goes, it doesn't ever return back. And my next chapter is reflective mode. Everyone who are living in this world are in the search of happiness. No one in this world is living without the search of happiness. So we must search happiness. Happiness comes from only the development of reason, so that we must develop our reasons. Also, in this reflective mode chapter, the author says that we must reflect more and more knowledge to gain more and more knowledge. And my next chapter is interest in arts. In this chapter, the author is clearly explaining about the time in the evening. Whenever we have free time in the evening, we must use the time to take interest in arts. We must do arts, we must do literatures. I'm not ordering or I'm not compelling you. You must take you must take interest in arts, you must take interest in literature. I'm not coming to say that. You can use the unusable and waste time to take interest in arts and literatures. The author gave an example to prove this. Let's keep that you move to a party. You enjoy the music, but you do not listen the music, because we are not training the ears to listen the music. We are training our ears to enjoy the music. Whenever if the musician say you play the music, we can't play. Same thing happens to art. And my next chapter is nothing in life is humdrum. As already said in the last chapter, art is the great thing, but art is not the greatest thing. And also in this world, nothing is humdrum. Humdrum means it is kind of dull thing. In this world, nothing is dull and no one is dull. As I already said, I'm not saying must fully devote yourself to literature. I'm not coming to say that. You must take time in arts and literature, which helps us to develop our knowledge. And my next chapter is serious readings. Books and newspapers can be added in serious readings, but novels are not accepted in serious readings. Novels are not accepted in serious readings. You may ask why novels are not accepted in serious readings. But the author gave an example to prove this. Novels are of two types. One is good novels and another is bad novels. Good novels are accepted in serious readings and are welcome. At the same time, bad novels are not accepted in serious readings. But whenever we see as a whole part, novels contain both good and bad. So novels are not accepted in serious readings. And my last but not the least chapter is dangers to avoid. In this chapter, the author gave a danger which should be avoided in your life. The danger is you should not be tied to a program like a slave to a chariot. This means whenever we tie a rope to a chariot, how tight we tie. We must not tie ourselves to our life like that. And my favorite part or my favorite chapter of this book is the 7th chapter, Controlling the Mind. In this chapter, the author clearly explains how we can control our mind and how our mind works. Many say that I don't have the power to concentrate. I don't have power to concentrate. I can't concentrate in class. But no, everyone in this world who are living have the power to concentrate. The author gave an example to prove this. Let's keep that you move out of an house and think of one subject. Whenever you move 10 years, your subject automatically changes. But before that 10 years or before that 8 years, your subject doesn't change. Why? That is your concentration power. Everyone has a concentration power, but it may differ from person to person. And with the regular practice of concentration, we can improve our concentration skills and we can think of one subject for more than hours and hours and hours. Also, in some serious situations, that means in some emergency situations, our subject doesn't change to any other subject, because in that emergency situations, we think that we should complete the task only, so that our subject doesn't change to any other subject. And my favorite quote of this book is in the 8th chapter, Reflective Mode. The quote is, the less we reflect, the less responsible we shall be. I repeat, the less we reflect, the less responsible we shall be. This quote speaks about our knowledge. Whenever we reflect only less knowledge, we gain only less knowledge, so that here also we are only responsible for that. But whenever we reflect more knowledge, we gain more knowledge. In this case also, we are only responsible for that. And the author also addressed that there are more white-collar workers during that day. White-collar workers are people who work in office or other administrative centers. They work for 8 hours a day and 40 hours a week. They hate their job. They do not enjoy their job. They don't have happiness in their job. Their daily activities are like they wake up, they go get ready to job, and they work as much as little possible in their job, and they come back home and they go to sleep. They don't have happiness in their life, and they don't get extra time to improve their skills and develop their knowledge. But the author gave an idea, a suggested idea, which helps them to get extra time. They can get early in the morning, which helps them to get extra time. And also, in the evenings, they can get extra time. Also, mainly in the weekends, they can get more extra time. In these extra time, they can develop their knowledge and improve their skills, which helps them to move to higher levels. And my feedback about this book, it's a fantastic book to read. Also, it helps us to develop our time management skills. This time management skills is not only for a particular person or a particular group. This time management skills is for everyone who live in this world. Even a poor people should follow, even a rich people should follow, even an average student should follow, even a high scoring student should follow to lead a successful life. And I recommend this book to people who are about 12 years old. Even adults can read this book. And my favorite part or my favorite chapter of this book is chapter 6, chapter 7 and chapter 8. Chapter 6 is Remember Human Nature, and chapter 7 is Controlling the Mind, and chapter 8 is Reflective Mood. And the author gave many and many examples in each and every topic, which helps us to understand the topic clearly and briefly. Also, this book contains a weakness. Author gave more difficult words which is hard to pronounce for young readers, so that I didn't suggest this book for people who are above 8 years old. And I conclude my review by saying, don't ever waste time. Use the time properly. Use the time wisely. Don't think that money is more important than time. Money is not important than time. Also, think that if time goes, it doesn't ever return back. Think this also in your mind every moment you live. Even this minute or even this second can change your life either to success or failure. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Inita of grade 3 going to review the book Nate the Great and the Fishing Prize. I do believe something very magical can happen when you read a good book. First, let me about the author. Marjorie Wellman Shermath was an American children's writer. She wrote more than 130 books for children and teens, and her books have been translated into several languages. They have won awards including Book of the Year by the Library Congress or have become selection by the Literary Guide. So what book level Nate the Greatest? Everyone's favorite detective, Nate the Great have been delighting reader for more than 30 years. Join the world's greatest detective, Nate the Great, as he solves the mystery, perfect for beginning readers and the common core. This book will encourage children to problem solve with Nate using logical thinking to solve mystery. Let me introduce the characters in the story. Nate the Great Detective, Sludge pet dog of Nate, Rosamond, Onion her pet Fang, Pip and his pet Parrot, Finale and his pet rat, and Yasamarlas. Let me take you all into the story. Nate the Great is about to enter his dog Sludge the smartest pet contest. But when the prize disappears, it looks as if the contest will flop. It's a tough case for Nate and Sludge as they search clues leading to the missing prize. In more ways than one, it's a very fishy business. Can Nate and Sludge find the prize in time? Of course, yes, because Nate the Great Detective of all time and he had the smartest dog Sludge. But he had hardly and hard to find the missing prize. Actually, the prize was an empty tuna fish can with the word smartest. Nate started his investigation in Rosamond's house. He shouted out questions like, "Did you paint the can in this room? Did you wash the tuna fish can before you made it into a prize? How do you sort of wash a tuna fish can?" All these questions prove that Nate was a dedicated detective. I really admire the way Nate investigated. Next, he went to Claude because he always lost things. Claude had a pig named Anastasia. Nate wanted to open pig's mouth to check whether it swallowed the can, but not. Next, Yasamarla's house. There he got to know the truth. Actually, the painted tuna fish can fell off from the window while Nate crossed Rosamond's house with the grocery bag. He rushed to his house and found the tuna fish can with the help of Sludge. Sludge the dog played the key role in finding the tuna fish can. Sludge smelled the place where Rosamond kept the can and painted, and it helped him to find where the can was. I really wonder, do dogs have such a good and strong smelling capacity? It really gave me the idea of checking the smelling capacity of my dog. Animals are smart. They can speak to math. Can you all guess why I chose this book? Because riddle part because I do like to ask riddle to my friends and find the answer for the riddle. Many kind of animals are smart. Now I'm here to share you some smartest animals. Chimpanzees. Chimpanzees can learn their numbers. They can put as many as 5 numbers in order from smaller to largest. Dolphins. Dolphins play jokes. I have seen them pull fish backward through the water. The most smartest bird in the world is an African grey parrot. His name is Alex. He is 23 years old. This parrot knows about 100 words. He knows up to 6 numbers. He knows 5 colors. He knows 7 shapes. Even he can say, I want grape. After reading the book, I really amazed about the IQ level of dog. Overall, this book was fantastic. I got a lot of information about animals and mysteries. I want to read more books like The Great, The Fancy Adventures and the other detective novels. When I compare to story part, activity part is more attractive and useful. I am giving 5 stars to this book and I encourage children to give it a read. Thank you.
Hello, I am Vishnu Charan from grade 7A. Today I am going to review to you all the book Diary of Wimpy Kid, The Long Haul. So, in this book review, I am going to share my understanding of this book. To begin with, I would like to say a few lines about the author. The author's name is Jeff Kenny and he is an American person from the state of New York. Before he wanted to be an author, he tried out for a news article reporter, but that job didn't go so well. So he moved on. So he thought of another way to earn money. Then he thought of writing books. So he wrote a book. Then figured out that he had a compassion of writing. So, and he was also born on the date 19th February 1971. So, now you know about the author, let me move on to the book. So, before we go into the book, I'm going to introduce you all to the characters. The first character is Greg. He is the main character of the book and whose life the book goes through. Second is Roderick. Roderick is the elder brother of Greg and he goes to high school. He is also in a band with his friends and very much enjoys sleeping and eating. He can do those two tasks anywhere, anytime. Next is Manny Heffley. Manny is the youngest of the family and gets most affection from his parents. Surprisingly, he is very intelligent though he is still in kindergarten. Next is Mrs. Heffley. Mrs. Heffley is the mother of the 3 boys and is the one who planned the adventure that awaits for you in the book. Lastly, it's Mr. Heffley. Mr. Heffley is a very busy man and the father of the 3 boys. So, now you know all the characters. Let me move on to the book. The journey starts when the summer holiday has just started for them. So, Greg and Roderick has started their break by spending a lot of time in front of their TV. The others, Mr. Heffley had a lot of time at work because for him now was a pretty busy time. Suddenly, Mrs. Heffley came and interrupted the family plans for the break. She said the family needs some time together because since they spend so much time apart. Mr. Heffley wasn't so convinced of this because of his work. The others weren't also interested of going because of Greg's previous incidents. But they had no other option but saying yes. So they all packed their bags and set off and to get going. When they started the journey, it was smooth for a little bit and then got a little rough. When I mean rough, I mean they got to they had to face many problems during their trip. One problem such as a broken sunroof, a child eating pig, and an argument between seagulls and pigs. Chips. Next, now let me go in little more detail of one scene that happened during this book. So, it happened when they're just driving to their home. But suddenly, in their way, they got stopped because they suddenly had to cross a bridge. Mr. Heffley had a fear of crossing bridges, so he didn't want to drive. Mr. Heffley told Roderick to drive, but so when he took the wheel, the car wasn't going so quick. This was because he accidentally slept in the driving seat. So, because of this, the car was only going around 3 miles per hour. How slow is that? Because of this, Greg was starting to get hungry. He opened a bag of chips and started eating. Soon, he saw a poor hungry seagull near on the side of the bridge. So he tossed a chip over to the poor seagull, and the seagull gobbled it straight away. Next, the seagull came back from Greg. So he tossed another one, but it came back in. Soon, more of the seagull's friends came. But Greg was now started to get fed up. So he just threw the whole packet in the air. Then suddenly, all the chips came back in the car. Because of this, it made Roderick get awake, which made him press very hard on the accelerator and hit them in the car in front of them. Luckily, the person in front were kind people. They didn't mind. So, what a hilarious scene! Like this, many other scenes occur during this book. The message I got from the book is that not always your trip goes as you planned it. Like for them, they expected it to be a nice trip, but it didn't go so well. But still, it was a trip and they enjoyed it. Like that, everything may not go as we wish, but we should enjoy it. So, my feedback from this book is that from a scale of 5, it would be 5. So, no, I didn't face any problems during this book. It is very easy to read and suitable for our ages, but maybe you would want to be like above 7 to read it. So, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tamalila of grade 3A. Title of the book, Unni Story. Author of the book, Vinita Ramachandini. Date of publication, December 2008. Author description. My author Vinita Ramachandini was an editor and author with 20 years of experience. She has worked with the media as journalist. She wrote many stories. 4 of her stories are part of English school book. 2 of her stories are made into films. Book length and size. The book has 29 pages with pictures. The book appearance is paperback. The story takes place to forest near Dia's village. Character of the story. Main character, Diama. She is a girl and 11 years old. She learns herbal from her grandmother. Muttashi. She is grandmother of Diama. She is Vaidyan in her village. Keshavan. He is the village head. Vinama. Friend of Dia. Papan. He is the elephant trainer. Unni. Name of the elephant in the story. Summary. In this walking through the forest. That time she saw a beautiful movement. A baby elephant trapped by poachers. Immediately she ran to the village for help. With the village people, the elephant took into the village. An elephant wounded will be cured. She take care of the elephant well. At the same time, she informed to the police station and forest officer. The poachers caught. Day by day passing, Dia is very attached to Unni, and she named as Unni. And soon she gets chance to be a Maha. But Unni sent back to the jungle. She learns Unni is my real friend, but never having to see him again. Memorable of the book. In the story, 3 times same elephant was saved by Dia and cured with herbal treatment. First time, the elephant trapped by poacher. Second time, gun shot by poacher. Third time, fell into the pit. All the 3 times she saved the elephant. After 4 years, both met in the forest. Both got remembered. Character changed in the story. In the story, Unni character changed. While first time, Dia and Unni meeting in the jungle. That time, Unni was young and small elephant. After 4 years, both met in forest again. That time, Unni was very tall and big. She identified with wounded ears and shoulder. Theme of the book. The book has glossary and pictures to understand the characters and events. Feedback about the book. The book is very interesting to read. I not get bored while reading. It makes me to involve in the character. The book. In the story, I like Dia's character. She is even small girl, but she learned how to save the elephant from poachers. And she also helped to the elephant. In the story, I not like the poachers and Keshavan character because poachers always hunting the animals. Keshavan, he tied the Unni iron chain. The book strength. The book has all the page pictures to understand the story easily. I have emotional and imaginative feelings while reading. The weakness of the book. The book has lack of character description. Diyama's mother and Dinama characters are not described briefly. Comparing the book with other book. We are comparing the book with When the Mountain Laughs and Unni story. Comparing Unni story and When the Mountain Laughs. Both the stories are very imaginative. Same author Vinita Ramachandini. Both the characters of story love the nature. In Unni's story, Dia loved the forest. In When the Mountain Laughs story, Unni Krishnan liked the mountain. Both liked nature. Theme of the book. We should not hunt the animals. New words learned from the book. Mahav, elephant trainer, poachers who hunt the animal, wandering to walk somewhere. Roundup review. I'm so excited to my book review. I suggested to all my friends to read this book. Rating book. I gave 4 stars for my book. Really, I liked it, but it is little difficult to understand the story. Thank
Sai Kumar here to review the book The World as I See It. This book was authored by Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, as we all know, is a great scientist. He have invented gas absorption heat pump and the Einstein refrigerator. Some of the other books he wrote are The Relativity and The Time Machine. The Relativity deals with physics. To say about this book, The World as I See It, it has 88 pages. It speaks about the experiences, it speaks about the moves of Albert Einstein, and it speaks about the Jews. What the Jews, who are they, and what is the point of view from them. This book was printed in the year 2021 in India and it was published by Maple Press Private Limited Publications. This book's content can be divided into 4 parts. The first part is about how Albert Einstein sees the world. And the second part is about politics. And the third point is about Germany. And the fourth point is about the Jews. To say about the first part, the world as I see it. Albert Einstein says the meaning of life, what we can get out of wealth, and what is good and what is bad. And he also says who was his inspiration and why he was inspired by him. And the second part says about politics. About politics, he is not speaking about the famous leaders, but he is saying what are the steps that should be taken by the government so that peace can be implied in the world. And the third part is about Germany. He does not say much about in this part. He just shares one of his experiences when he was living in Germany and when he was working as a professor. The fourth part is about the Jews. The Jews is a community that is existing there. Albert Einstein belongs to the Jews, so he makes some requests to his own Jewish people. This book, like many other books, starts with a question that what is the meaning of life? He says, the author Albert Einstein says that the meaning of life comes when one thinks that all other around him are meaningful. When they think that all around them are not meaningful, he or she is disqualified to live a life. He then shares his own experience that he is helped by nearly 100 people every day. The few people die the next day and the few people leave the work after years. He says thanks to them and he also feels that he is depending on others to do his own work. I think the speaker, Albert Einstein, is coming to say us about self-dependency. We should depend on ourselves to do the works. We should not depend on others to do the work. We should use the idea given by our own brain, not others' brain. If we do so, then we will be stuck in the middle of our life. He says that he was inspired by Schopenhauer and his thought, a man can do as he will, but not will as he will. This thought means that a man can do what he wanted to do, but he cannot choose what he wants. And in this sense, a man is not left free. What he wants is fixed into him. It is determined into him by the nature. And he says about humanity, that humanity cannot be compared to any people in the world. That person with more helping mind is greater than the person with more wealth. He says when a population of a place increases, it means that the people there and the culture there are developing. He points that Europe's population has increased by 3 times as it was 100 years before. He also points that selfishness cannot gain anything in our life. If we are following selfishness, in the future we will feel that we are alone in the world. The world will look dark for us. And he also points, when we are starting to do an activity or an work, we should think whether the activity we are going to perform hurts others or not. If we come to know that it does not hurt others, only then we should start the work. To say about peace, he says that peace can be implied in any country in the world when majority of the people of the country support to the people and they agree to the opinion of the people. He says a thought that state is made for man and not man for the state. This thought means that state is the servant of man and not we its slaves. I don't agree to Albert Einstein with this point, that he says that state should be the servant of us and we should not serve to the state. Only if we serve to the state in return will serve to us. He says during war times, citizens of the country are forced to serve to the armies. He says some legal ways should be given by the government so that the citizen can omit the chance of being a soldier. He also points that for industries, there should be young people employed and old people removed. I think he says this because young people can do more work compared to old people, and they can do the work in a quick span of time compared to the old people, and they can also gain some experience which the old people have experienced already. One of the best experience I found that he shared in this book is when he was in Germany, he worked in a Prussian Academy of Science. He was a professor in the academy. He was invited for a meeting in France. He went to France, and while returning, he gave a threat to the academy saying that he is not willing to be a part of the academy, which means that he has resigned his job. The academy posted a letter back to him asking, "Why did you resign the job?" He replied to the academy that he did not like the government of Germany and its manifesto, so that he removed himself from the academy. And he finally says some request to his own Jewish people, that their Jewish have not gained any properties in the past few years. Instead, they have used the properties created by their forefathers. He also points that their forefathers lived in the world without no rights from the government, and questions why can't they do better than them, having all the rights from the government. He finally concludes the book by saying that whoever knows about equality, and mainly the people of Christianity, to teach others about equality. When equality is learned by everyone in the world, automatically there will be tolerance of religion. When there is tolerance of religion, there will be peace implied in the country. And when these both happen, there will be a less chance of war. The favorite thought of me in this book is the thought set by Schopenhauer, that a man can do as he will, but not will as he will. The thought I disliked in this book is the state is made for man and not man for the state. I'll rate this book 3 out of 5 stars, as it taught me 2 life lessons: that we should do the job with fulfilled heart, not for the name or not for the wealth we get out of it. And we should try to reduce or increase something step by step instead of trying that in a single step. I'll recommend this book for everyone who knows more complicated words. The bad opinion on the book is that this book letter formats are given as it is. For example, if it is a letter, they have given from address to address and etc. I'll conclude my review by saying that we should learn tolerance of religion, caste, and religious caste and gender, so that our world will be in peace. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Pranika from grade 3B. I'm going to review a book. The title of the book is The Three Little Pigs. The author of the book is John Stevenson. Editor and contributor of the book is John Stevenson. It was illustrated by Steve Smallman. It was published in 1993 by Lady Bird. It is timeless, treasured stories. It is easy to read with colorful and beautiful images. There are some available titles are The Big Pancake, Chicken Licken, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, The Little Red Hen. The type of the book is fiction, which is printed in Italy. This book is based on a traditional folk tale. John Stevenson was born on April 6, 1927. John lived in Geyser, Oregon, USA. John passed away on 2017 at the age of 78. The length of the book is 32 pages. The format of the book is hardcover. Once upon a time, There were 3 little pigs. Their mother said to live by your own. They started to build a house. They all went to collect the materials to build a house. The first little pig collect the materials of straw. The second little pig collect the materials of sticks. The third little pig collect the materials of bricks. The pig started to keep bricks and built a home finally. The very next day, the wolf went to the first little pig house and ate the little pig. Then again the wolf went to the second little pig's house and again it ate the second little pig. The pig went to the farm and bought some turnips. On the way, it saw the wolf and climbed up on the apple tree. The wolf said, I will take you to the fair. Then the pig again saw the wolf and hidden into the churn. Then the wolf went to the third little pig's house, but it didn't allow it. So the wolf thought for a while and climbed up on the house. The wolf planned to go the house by chimney, where the wolf went fallen into the boiling hot water pan and burnt badly. The end of the wolf. The main characters were Mother Pig, 3 little pig, Farmer Smith, Wolf, Farmer Smith, Farmer Browns. The 3 little pigs are good-hearted person and hard-working person. My favorite sentence is, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. The thing which I dislike is the character of wolf. It changed my life. I would like to be the character of third pig. I am more interested to read the book. This book is suitable for age readers 5 to 8 plus. It is an excellent book. It is a great book for me. My rating of the book is 4 out of 5. It is available at every apps for $1. Comparing to Divya and her family, it is a family story. Its rating 3 out of 5. My recommendation is the 3 little pigs. Finally, in the conclusion, I would like to tell hard work and dedication pay off. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kavinaya from grade 4B. Here, let me start it off with the quote. They were more than friends. They are sisters. Here, I'm going to review the book called Tia Stilton and the Mystery in Paris. It is written by Elizabeth Maria Dami and published on 2008. There are more book series which are funny, adventurous and mystery. This is the 5th book in this series. Elizabeth Maria Dami, born on 1st January 1958. She is an Italian children's book author who is famous for being the creator of Geronimo Stilton. She wrote plenty of books like Tia Stilton and the Dragon's Court, Geronimo Stilton and the Haunted Castle, Tia Stilton and the Secret City, Geronimo Stilton, Happy Birthday. It is a very interesting and awesome book. It has a very good bond of friendship, fashion mysteries and interesting chapters. There were clues to find and pages with colorful pictures, words with colors and shapes. Total number of pages in this book is 158 and 30 chapters. Now, let's travel with me in the story with interesting characters. Nikki, she's always in a good mood when she's outdoors. Cotlet, she's very energetic and full of great ideas. Pamela, she's a peacemaker and can't stand arguments. Paulina, she loves traveling around the world and helps other rodents. Violet, she's a detail-oriented person and helps other and always opens new things. Now, do you all want to know how Nikki, Cotlet, Pamela, Paulina, Violet named their group as Tia Sisters? Yes means I will tell you. They were studying in an academy. Their professor Tia thought they were so special. so she took extra care of them. So they named their group as Tia Sisters. Now, the story. The Tia Sisters were on a trip to Paris to visit Cotlet's fashion designer, cousin Julie. But when Julie's designs get stolen, it was up to the Tia Sisters to help. They were searching around the city of Paris to catch the thief and save the fashion show. They found out that Julie's professor was the thief and had stolen the designs to make a map for a valuable treasure. To do that, the clothes were torn by the professor. The professor explained that he was studying about Professor Liebig's. Fabricon was a genius. He made beautiful inventions, beautiful gowns. And he wrote a map. Nikki asked, so he disappeared with the map? The professor nodded his head. Pavina said to the professor, "You have the map. You can find the treasure." The professor said, "That's a great idea." So they were searching around. They found the treasure that the professor had been searching for many years. But sadly, the color was gone. Then the Tia Sisters insisted the professor to make new gowns. This is a very interesting and awesome story. It is full of great thoughts. What I like about the story is that the strong friendship that the Tia sister had, and they were there for each other at all times. It enhances our detective skills. What I dislike about this story is that the professor could have elaborated more about the treasure that the professor was searching for. Well, I recommend it for all young readers because the colorful pictures and the words with shapes that impress and is easy to understand. Hope you all enjoy the review. Thank you.
Hi, I am Nidarshana from grade 4B. I am here to give a book named by The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse. Country Mouse lived in the small house deep in the roots of an old tree. One day, his cousin, Town Mouse, has came to visit him. "Welcome to my house," said Country Mouse. "You will love the country. It is so nice and quiet." Country Mouse made a big supper and they sit down to eat at the wooden table. But Town Mouse did not like the plain foods or thick mugs and plates. And the little straw bed made Town Mouse scratch and sneeze. "It's too dark in the country," he said. "I can't sleep." Every morning before the sun was up, Country Mouse was so busy finding food for the winter. "Come and help me, cousin," he shouted cheerfully. But Town Mouse did not like to work and getting his hands and clothes dirty. One day, Country Mouse took Town Mouse across the meadow to find some mushrooms. The horse who lived there came to make friends with the mice. But Town Mouse was so surprised and fell head over heel in the wet grass. On the way, "I don't like the country," he said. "It's cold, it's wet and very frightening." On the way home, Town Mouse was so busy telling Country Mouse about the town that he did not notice a huge owl swapping down towards him. "Look out!" shouted Country Mouse and pushed his cousin into a ditch. Owl flew away, but what fight they both had! Town Mouse hurted the country more. "It's cold and wet and essentially keyword. Story-specific words are repeated to practice throughout. From this story, I have learned we should not judge book by its cover and we should not tease others. I recommend this book aged under 7. Thank you for giving a wonderful opportunity.
Hi everyone, I am Harshit from grade 5B. Today I am going to review the book titled Little Dolphin, Milo's Big Mistake. The author of this book is Lucy Daniels and it was illustrated by David Melling. Lucy Daniels was born in Yorkshire and grew up loving animals. She always wanted to be the writer and now she is the best children's writer specialized in books about animals. She wrote the book such as Kittens in the Kitchen, Pony in the Porch, Puppy in the Pantry, so on. This book was illustrated by David Melling. He was also the best children's writer. He wrote the book such as Just Like My Dad, The Tale of Jack Frost, so on. This book was originally published in August 12, 2004. It is a fiction genre. And when I read this book, I felt more adventurous. This book is about a playful dolphin named Milo who got stuck in the old wrecked ship. This book had 5 chapters and 62 pages. It is a medium-sized black and white illustrations. The 3 friends were very naughty until Milo gets stuck in the old wrecked ship. Okay, let's move into the story. The 3 friends were very naughty and made fun of each other in their underwater world. As the big storm is coming, little dolphin is excited to play with his friends. But his mother told them not to go near the old wrecked ship as it is not safe for them. They began to play. As they were making noise, the old wrecked ship was angry on them and shouted, "Get away from there." They headed off to play hide and seek. But Milo got stuck in the old wrecked ship. Little dolphin rushes to find help from the old aged eel. He checks out and gets help from the lobster brigade. They rescued Milo from the old wrecked ship. Milo thanked everyone for their helpness and hard work. Then went back happily. My favorite part in the story is when that Milo gets stuck in the old wrecked ship. Their friends calm them by singing songs and being brave. This is the kind of attitude we must follow in our day-to-day life. Even though the eel is very grumpy and angry in nature, it helped Milo get away from the old wrecked ship. But the old wrecked ship, why I choose this book? It teaches us how we need to be brave in difficult situations, how we need to find solution. In spite of Mother Dolphin's repeated warnings, Milo went near the old wrecked ship and got trapped. I learned that it's always good to listen to our parents and elder peoples as they are telling for our better sum only. Mistakes are too fine as long as you learn from the mistakes. The vocabulary words I have learned from the story is grinned, squeezed, wriggled. Why I liked this book? The characters and the pictures made the book interesting to read. Made the book interesting to read. So, the bond they have shared in the story is very strong. That can be evident by their friendship. This book makes me to read more than one time. I recommend this book to age group 6 to 9 years old as it builds confidence to the readers as it has got a beautiful storyline. This book is a best read for who likes adventures, especially sea animals. This book teaches us how we need to learn from the mistakes and how we need to be brave in difficult situations. So, I give 5-star rating to this book. Thank you.
I am Muhammad Yargan from grade 2, going to review a book titled The Colorful Chameleon. Before getting into the story, let me tell you about science. So, what is science? Science is the action to find out any fact regarding the natural world. Science generates solutions for everyday life and helps us to answer the great mysteries of the universe. In other words, science is the one of the most important channels of knowledge. This book, The Colorful Chameleon, gave away an interesting scientific fact about chameleon, and this inspired me to read books related to science. Now let me tell you the characters in the story. Jason's mom, Jason's dad, Jason's uncle, Tommy the chameleon. The story starts up in a pet shop. Jason with his mom and dad went to shop. There were many animals, but he was attracted towards an animal which was very different and unique in the shop. It's a chameleon, and this was the most interesting I found in his story. It can change its color. I wondered how could it happen. With an eager of finding the answer, I read the story. Jason wanted to have the chameleon as pet, but of course he cannot have it as a pet. He was so sad. But soon his birthday came to surprise. His uncle gifted him the chameleon. His dad said how to take care of the chameleon, but he continued to read. One day, Jason fell asleep while playing with the chameleon. Next morning, he noticed that chameleon was missing. He was restless. Even I too felt it. The chameleon was found. Finally, Jason learned a lesson that he should take care of his pet with more love and attention. As Jason found his chameleon, I too found the answer why the chameleon changed its color. The chameleon changes its color to show its feelings and changes the original color of the chameleon is green, and it means that it is calm. Though the book had only 15 pages, it had words which are very new to me. After reading the book, I do get an idea of having a pet animal my mom allows. There are many reasons to get and keep an animal in our home. Pets help fight anxiety and make us calmer. Pets help us be organized and disciplined. Pets help our physical health. Pets teach us to love and gain new knowledge. Pets are part of our everyday lives and part of our families. I suggest this book to the people who really love to have pet animal. I really enjoyed while reading, hoping that you all will read it. Thank you.
I'm Loga Pranesh. I'm from grade 12. I'm here to review a book named Think Like a Monk. This book is written by Jay Shetty. This author, Jay Shetty, is not only an author. He is also an entrepreneur, and he also owns a podcast, and he also owns a YouTube channel. It consists of 2.4 million subscribers and with millions of views. Notably, to say this about author is he has written only one book, that is Think Like a Monk. This book is based off his monk training which he had during his past. This book states about how do we control our negativity, how do we control our anxiety, how do we stop overthinking, and how to find our purpose of living. This book first starts with negativity. Negativity is it's like self-injuring ourselves. He says that there are two types of negativity. One is we are thinking about ourselves negative, and the other thing is negative thoughts which is influencing us. Like you can, he says three ways to stop the negativity which we have, which is influenced by others. Like one is first spot it, second stop it, third swap it. How do we stop? He is saying us to ask questions to ourselves so that we will have clear cut ideas like in what we are negative and what the ways we are influenced by negative things. And after finding what we are negative, and he's saying that we must write it down, we have to write it down and switch to positive direction. We have to switch our mind to how to stop that negativity. So we have to address our book, like it must say like how to stop it, then to swap it. First, how do I stop it? Like switch it to positive areas. Like if I am a binge eater, I have to stop binge eating habit. I move on with fitness group. I create a group of people, those who are interested in fitness, and they create my own fitness goals, and they help me to achieve it. That's then third, mind. He says that mind is master of everything. We have to control our mind. Like he says that our mind is like a monkey, and he also says our mind is a monkey mind. Our thoughts are like branches of it. What do monkey does? It jumps from branch to branch, branch to branch. Whereas a trained mind, like a monk's mind, it's stable. It stays in a stable place, which is very calm and quiet. And how to stop a monkey mind is focus. Like he says to create a routine. He also says that time has a memory and place has an energy. What does it means? Like time has a memory and place has an energy is like a place is meant for few things, like temple is meant for pray, and ground is meant for play, and classroom is meant for learning, and particular time slot. When we create a habit of doing a particular work in a particular time, like when we are doing gym in 4 to 5 at evening, we create it as a habit when we do it for 21 days. Then as he told, like the author has told that he has created a place for his study room. Like whenever he goes and studies there, when he's entering that room, that room tempts him to study, and he dropped his mobile phones, and he dropped everything outside, because we must not interlink the things. Like during my study hours, we must be focusing only in those study things, and we must not focus in other activities. Like what we do, we usually read in our beds, and we usually play in classrooms. He says that do a particular work and particular time perfectly, so we will stop the distractions outside. Then he says about fear. There are two types of fear. One is like short-term fear and long-term fear. Short-term fear is what we are having, like just before the anxiety thing which we are having coming in front of stage. That is one type. Then another thing is like long-term fears, like fear about how I will take care of my parents, how I will be in my good relationship, and how well I will be in my career. Those things are termed as long-term fears. How do I control this? He told that we can control the long-term fears by being in present. You must not think about the past, because it has already happened. You must not think about the future. We doesn't know what will happen. When you are focused in the present, you know confirmly like this will happen, so we will have a better future at the end. How to control short-term fears? Short-term fears are like adrenaline rush before we are entering here. How do we control it? He says breathing techniques and meditations to stop it. Like breathing techniques like short breaths, like before entering to the stage, even I do have an anxiety attack, and my adrenaline rush got more. I had a great deep breath and exhaling in my mouth, so that I stopped my initial anxiety thing. So it make me to have get some confidence while I'm entering the stage. He's saying us to learn detachment. He says us to learn detachment from like monks go to extreme detachments like leaving their families and leaving their livelihood and go to hills for the monk training to focus and stay away from all the all the sources which are influencing them in the negative things. And what we are supposed to do is, like, we can have our short detachments, like we can detach from our mobiles and we can detach from our social medias. So these detachments will help us to focus in the activity which do better. Notably, this author did not um, write based on others' perspective and others' success stories. He has written only by his learning which he had in his monk training, and he says that this words of this author is like it is easily understandable to everyone, and also he says that our mind is master of everything. When we control it, we control the whole world. I recommend this book for people's like 9 grade 9 to 12 grade 9 and up, because they can understand the book and they can know the essence of the book, and they can implement the book and the readings and actions with them. Thank you.
I am Haritra from grade 3 to review a book on the title Planet Earth by Chris Baker. Which planet is nearest to the Earth? Which planet is known as the morning star or evening star? Which is the largest planet in solar system? Which planet is nearest to the sun? My God, too many questions, right? So I am here to give answer to the questions from the book what I read. This colorful non-fiction reader is filled with interesting facts about our planet Earth and is perfect for young readers to develop their confidence in reading. Lady Bird is one of the best-selling reading series. For over 30 years, it has helped young children who are learning to read develop and improve their reading skills. For the book is very carefully written to include many key high frequency words that are vital for learning to read. Simple sentences and frequently repeated words help to build the confidence in reading, and 4 different levels of book support the children. Planet Earth is a level 3 read it yourself book, suitable for children who are learning to read, developing reading confidence and stamina. The book gave me so many information about the formation of Earth, volcanoes, earthquakes, and whatnot. Earth is really ancient, and humans have been only been around for a tiny part of that time. Now, let me tell you the formation of Earth. The gas and dust were floating, swirling, and spinning past each other, but they were all quite far apart. Our own Earth was getting hit by rocks that were falling towards it. It kept getting bigger and hotter until it was a giant ball of melted rock. When rocks are smashed together hard, there is a lot of heat energy. There were volcanoes all over the place with hot lava and gas everywhere. But slowly over many years, the top layer of Earth started to cool down. This is continuing today. But slowly over many years, this top layer of Earth is cool enough to harden. I really wondered about the process. My God, what would happen if it was left as it is? Thank you.
Hi, I am Vijay Pranav from grade
7th A, here to present the book review on the title Mr. Twiddle in Trouble Again. The author of the book is Enid Blyton. Enid Mary Blyton is an English children's writer whose books are worldwide bestsellers since 1930s. 600 millions of her book copies have been sold, and and she had translated her books into 90 languages. As of June 2018, she held fourth place for the most translated author, and the publisher of the books are Award Publications Limited. The year of publication is 2004, and the genre of the book is fictional. Why I chose this book means because when I was searching the book for this book review in our school library, I took this book and I saw the cover page. I was eager to read the cover page. I was eager to see the cover page because a man was throwing the fish into the dustbin. So I was eager to know who's that man and why that man is throwing the fish into the dustbin. So I was eager to read. And there are 95 pages in the book, and there are 9 chapters to read. And I like 2 chapters in this book that are the 5th chapter and the 7th chapter because it was the most funniest chapters in this book. And why I like this book means this book's language is super to read and easy to understand. And I recommend this book to children, adults, and people who are in stress. Because people who are in stress, when they read this book, they will forget their stress and they will become fun. And they will always be comedy. Because in each and every chapter and each and every page, in each and every sentence, it is only fun and comedy mixed. Because it will speak about Mr. Twiddle's forgetfulness and sometimes very silliness and the rememberingfulness of the Mrs. Twiddle. And I think the author is conveying the message to us like we should not be like Mr. Twiddle, because always Mr. Twiddle will forget everything to do and someone will remember him like Mrs. Twiddle. So the author is saying to us that we should not be like Mr. Twiddle. Thank you.
Is about leading a meaningful life without depending on things like money. Every chapter of this book starts with an interesting quote. The quotes are meaningful and enlightening. This book is a suitable read for all age groups. And this book encourages and motivates the readers to strive for success. This book was published in the year of 1999 by Embassy Book Distributors. It consists of 143 pages which is divided into 15 chapters. And this book is a provoking read for happiness and self-fulfillment. It is an app for new readers, and it also has a simple and easy language to follow. Jim Starwell is an Olympic weightlifter, successful investment broker, entrepreneur from America. He is one of the motivational speakers, and he is one of the 10 outstanding young Americans in 1994. He is well known for his best-selling book, The Ultimate Gift, and he also authored several books such as Success Secrets for Superachievers, The Way I See the World, The Lamp, Wisdom of Ages, The Ultimate Journey, The Ultimate Life, and so on. He received many awards for his humanitarian work. The inspiring and thoughtful story which lies ahead is about 24-year-old young Jason who embarks on the journey to receive the ultimate gift by his rich millionaire uncle, Red Stevens. And Red Stevens passed away, leaving a box for Jason like a home video, and his other family members received millions of dollars. Red Stevens sets out 12 tasks for Jason
for 12 months per year. And Jason could attain the ultimate gift by the end of the year after completing those 12 tasks. This novel is written in the perspective of Theodore J. Hamilton, who is a family lawyer and a close friend of Red Stevens. And Theodore J. Hamilton has to guide Jason in his 12 tasks. Jason could receive one gift from his uncle, Red Steven, and tasks set out by Red Steven enables Jason to underline the importance of various aspects of life, such as dignity of work, the importance of money, family, friendship, problems, and so on. And he also realizes about the ultimate gift, the message of the ultimate gift, and what is the ultimate gift means. The ultimate gift is, it is important to go through difficulties in your life, and he also realizes that a life lived up to its fullest without depending on things like money, and spreading the message to help people who are in need from his enlightening experiences. Now, let me list out some takeaways and some tips to attain those monthly gifts of Jason. The gift of work. Appreciation and satisfaction comes by earning something. Leisure is enjoyable only when you earn it. The gift of friends. True loyal friends are hard to find, so treat them that way. You never know when a new friendship is about to start. The gift of learning. Having a burning desire and a love for self-education. The gift of problems. Problems prepare us what the life is going to be ahead. What is next? So embrace and enjoy the risk. The gift of family. Many are born with a wonderful family, while some have to create one. So you know the true value and the power of family when you don't have it. So treat them that way. So treat them properly. The gift of dreams. See yourself accomplishing your goals and desires before living through them. Dream until your last day. The gift of giving. Small gifts are huge for others. It makes each gift experience worth living, and those gifts, so give more than you take. The gift of love. The most required and ingredient thing in your every part of your life is love. Then the setting of this novel takes place in a New Hampshire, a ranch in Texas, and a small library in South America. The message of the ultimate gift is, it is important to go through difficulties in your life. We all of us deserve a meaningful and happy life. And we should also spend our right time, mind and energy in the right way to do so. It teaches me several meaningful lessons. One of the lessons which mostly inspired me is, if you can look at your life with a laughter, things get easier. This is the book where the characters are relatable and you get pulled into the story. It also allows to use these gifts in terms of money, perception, critical thinking, and imagination. This book is a good guiding for children's stability. And there is an also movie composed by Michael Subgel about this book, The Ultimate Gift. Every reader will understand these various aspects of life in a different way and in a different manner. This book has sold over 3 million copies. After putting it down, I could not stop my thoughts going into my mind. We should all be grateful for these gifts in which Jim Starwell has given us in these 150-odd pages. It is relevant to the maturing teenager as it is for a grandparents who is nearing the end of their life. It gives us the meaningful and motivating life. Those of you who have strictly defined your success in terms of money up to this point may have had similar experiences. A good news is never too late to refocus. And Jason also knows that he is about to embark on a subtitle journey of life transformation and will come away with a reborn understanding. And Jason also receives the charitable trust fund of $1 billion from his uncle Red Stevens, and he could also share his gifts with everyone. As per the gift of friendship, this book gives an example for the strong bond of friendship between Hamilton and Red Steven. The character of Jason seems to have undergone major changes and growth in the course of a year. Every reader will take these lessons in a different way and in a different manner. If life has many amazing gifts to offer us all, if you do not know when and where, how to use and receive all those gifts, they are useless. Now, let me list out some takeaways for the lessons we so far learned. Life has many struggles. Learn and grow from it. Wisdom takes time, not theory, not max formulas. Wisdom is a life lived with struggles, knowledge, practice, and experience together forms wisdom. Courage, discipline, and effort forms a principled life. And work is a reward in itself, and things only by which only we can create, whether it is physical or mental labor. This book sounds easy to be a better person, and one of the weaknesses, there is no in-depth description of struggles faced by Jason and the importance of gifts. Life has many amazing gifts to offer us all. So, the author provides us all with a reminder of genuine happiness and meaning. That's what makes this book so far-reaching. We all of us know the true value and the power of a smile, true friendship, a loving family, our goals and desires, money, love, education, learning, and so on. So Jim Starwell explains all these and teaches us all these in the definition of success. Every one of these gifts is in our control, and it is up to us to choose to make them our focus. Our success. A simple refocus may be all you need to remove what is keeping happiness in your life, and that refocus is needed just every day or just every year. Either way, it sure happens. I felt reborn as I read all these gifts and realized when and where I should be better spending my time and focus on my thoughts. The gift of focus on my thoughts. And Jason has also led a less than meaningful life up to this point, and this book is based on the principles of love, giving, and gratitude. This book's story inspires people and realize that the only way you can truly get more out of your life for yourself is to give a part of yourself away. This book changes the whole perspective of looking over your life, and it changes the reader's mindset and vision completely. It has a high value of spiritual practice of generosity. After all, things without love, relationships, nothing about your not business, career, or finance would make a difference. When life is about material awards and material things, you find that desire to want more seems to have always take over. And this book also represents as an example of the friendship, love, education, and it also incorporates these gifts in your ever-refining definition of success. Your success, fulfillment, and meaning will be measured much more by the number of lives you truly made better than anything we accumulate or consume. As a long-term educator whose specialties of literature and writing, there is a loftier goal here. The reason for choosing this book is of spirituality shelf, contemporary, philosophic, thought-provoking read, and this book was fabulous, entertaining, and the story kept me hanging. I wanted to read this book just to know what the ultimate gift is, and in a way, I became kind of Jason, greedy for the result. I would recommend this book for all teenagers and parents who's raising children. I would give 4.5 stars rating for this book. I really love this book and give 2 thumbs up. Thank you.
Hi, Harikartika of grade 3. I'm going to book review. The title of my book is The Man Mountain.
of the most marvelous adventures that anyone can have. Happy to see you all. Let me tell you about the author. Martin Waddell is a writer of children's books from Belfast, Northern Ireland. He may be known best for his picture book text, especially Little Bear series, illustrated by Barbara Firth. He also writes under the pen name Catherine Sefton for his older children, primarily ghost stories and mystery fiction. For his lasting contribution as a children's writer, Martin Waddell received the Hans Christian Andersen Medal in 2004. Imagination, the ability of the mind that imagine things, the act or power of forming a mental image of something not present to the senses or never before wholly perceived in reality. So, what causes imagination? It turns out that imagine accesses many parts of the brain. This includes areas responsible for vision, emotion, and senses. It also uses areas that control reasoning, speech, impulses, and more. It's beyond imagination. But the book, The Man Mountain, is a complete imagination. While reading the book, it automatically takes me to the world of imagination. The story says about an old giant who was the last of the giants. He felt very lonely, so went to sleep, not for a night, but days, months, years and years. There were hurricanes, storms, floods, but Oscar slept, all because of loneliness. It's right to call him Sleeping Beauty. Alas, gradually he disappeared. People called them the Buff Man Mountain. But to my surprise, old Matthew with his granddaughter built house on the big giant, considering him as a mountain. While everyone afraid of Man Mountain, little Rose wanted to explore the mountain. One day, little girl went into the nostrils of the giant, assuming it as a cave. Then came a big sneeze. Soon, the giant and the little girl became friends. But while reading the story, really wondered how far this is possible. Really do giant will exist? If so, what will be their food, dress, and where they will live? It's beyond imagination, but it delights the readers. Soon, the giant and the little girl become friends. After a couple of days, the entire village become friends of giant. And that was happy ending. So, the book contains 27 pages. I learned many new words and adjectives. I suggest this book for the readers who are the initial. I suggest this book. The words are repeated in few pages, and so it builds confidence in the readers. The left-hand pages in the story is for the readers who are good in reading. The right-hand pages are specially written for child with simple vocabulary and helpful repetition. I would like to conclude by saying that this book is truly unimaginary. I suggest this book for the readers at the initial stage because this book contains pictures kids can easily get the story. But I felt like they could have added few more notes on the giant. Anyhow,
Secret of Letting Go, written by Guy Fenley. Guy Fenley is an writer, philosopher, spiritual teacher, songwriter, and also a musician. His ideas cut straight to the most important personal and social issues like relationship, success, happiness, peace, stress, and freedom, and also the way to lead a higher life. He is said to be one of the leading experts at the forefront of human potential. The Secret of Letting Go is the best-selling book which contains Fenley's encouraging and accessible message is one of the true bright lights in our world today. This book contains 9 chapters which gives real answers for the following: how to conquer stress, dropping down your self-defeating behavior, releasing your inner strength, and living your life on your own terms, etc. Let me start up with the quote. Nothing in the universe can stop you from letting go and starting over a truly new life. Here, we should know what letting go actually means, right? Letting go is being courageous to let go the things that makes you feel bad and no longer serves you. For your understanding, let me say, letting go is moving on from one disappointment to the hope of new victory. The author shares the greatest secret on earth to let go and start over a really true life. He insists not to take the Agaram baggage in you and to shed down what we do not need. For an example, a tree sheds down what we do not mature fruit onto the ground to reproduce. Here, we should just learn to cooperate with the powerful forces to naturally shed what we do not need. Be stronger than anything that frightens you. A common enemy is fear. Fear in us develops when there is a personal lack of understanding of basic principles that been waiting all along to protect, nurture, and to gladden each of our life. Fear in us could be banished by understanding what's carrying us. The another best solution is we should be more curious about our frightening thoughts and feelings than we want to believe in them. The true way to change your life level. The changing our environment, job, relationship will not improve our life. We must change our reaction to these things. It is the way we choose to. Experience life what makes us happy or upset. We often try to correct our outer world to make our inner world happy, but that's true. According to the author, we should start with our inner world to make our outer world happy. Then the outer world will fall into place and happiness. The author shares the key point for the really true life. Here are the few. Understand the situation by entering into it. Realize the need for self-correction. See that your reaction is not your reality. Self-rescue without self-revelation is self-deception. Be self-enlightened, not self-frightened. Your true nature is high. We don't choose our true nature. We just need to let it happen. When we stop choosing to lose, then winning will happen naturally. Remember, true self-certainty is the absence of false self-doubt. To enhance the point, I like to explain with an example, a case of mistaken identity. A man who woke up in the dressing room of a playhouse and didn't know who he was. He tried on all of the clothes of clown, bum, statesman, etc., and realizing none of them fits him. And none were who he was. He finally realized he owned the playhouse and not any of the characters' costume he tried on. This becomes an analogy of anxiety and self-doubt when there is a true lack of identity. Self-understanding replaces our nervous fears into calm self-command. Reject and detect the physic intruders. Our, our self, we often feel at the moment on the top of the world, and the next we feel we are carrying the whole world on our back. These are intruders. Intruding thoughts makes us unable to recognize the difference between inner friend and inner foe. Your two worlds, two natures, and two selves. We have two of us. One is our false self and another is our true self. The author compares the false self with a desert and the true self with the mountain next to it. When the mountain ship is higher, because it cannot be disturbed by the desert next to it. But the desert causes problems to the things in it. Now, mountain ship cannot cause problems because it gives protection when we are on top of the world. Here, so we no need to bother about our inner false self. Your true nature is so high. We don't trust our true nature. We just need to let it happen. When you stop choose to lose, then winning will happen naturally. Here are the few points which author shares for living a light life. So real life is intended to be more inner acted, not outer directed. To soar more, to see more. Don't act to be kindly and dare to be more awake. So your self-strength knows your self-weakness is not yours at all. The sure way to raise a life level. Here, the author says to discover the real pleasure of letting go and starting over a truly new life by banishing fears and negativity. Here are the few. Let me conclude the point. Let me conclude with a suggestion to discover the real pleasure of letting go and starting over a really true life by banishing fears and negativity. Thank you.
I'm Eunice Naglin from grade 4A. Recently I read an interesting book, Pinocchio. I'm going to review about this book, Pinocchio. Pinocchio is a story about a Marion, a puppet worked by a sting, who tries to become a real boy by providing himself be truthful, brave and selfless. He is assisted by Jiminy Cricket, his conscience. The title of Pinocchio, author Carlo Collodi, an Italian, great children's literature, novel, fantasy fiction, adventure fiction. Date of publication February 1883. Author's description: Carlo Lawrence was born 24th November 1826. He was an Italian author, humorist and journalist known for his fairy tale. This book length 7.7 into 5 inches. Appearance: a wooden doll with a long nose in a blue background. Content of the book: the poor man named Geppetto. He made a puppet and spoke to him. Introduction: once there was a carpenter named Geppetto. He made a puppet and spoke to him. He did not have any sons. He wished that I had a son. One day he told lie, and another day he told another lie, so that the fairy bring back his nose to normal size. He tells truth to the fairy. The fairy bring back his nose to normal size. Character name: Pinocchio. Gender: male. Personality: Wooden puppet. Relationship. Son of Geppetto. Character name Geppetto. Gender male. Age 40. Personality human. Relationship father of Pinocchio. Character name fairy with turquoise hair. Gender male female. Personality fairy. Relationship mother of Pinocchio. Character name Jimmy Cricket. Gender male. Personality cricket. Relationship official conscience that helps fairy. Character name Proco. Gender male. Personality kitten. Relationship Geppetto's pet. Character name Kilio. Gender male. Personality goldfish. Relationship Geppetto's pet. Character name blue whale. Personality fish. Relationship monster that swallows Geppetto. Setting in the book. The story is taking San Miniato Basso place in a small village. Memorable and inspirable aspect of the book. Detective future about the book. The adventures are the future of the book. Because through mistakes the characters make too long. Conflict of the book. Major conflict. Puppet comes into a little boy. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am R.S. Mugilan from grade 6B. I am going to review the book titled Peter Pan. Sir James Matthew Barrie has wrote this book Peter Pan. Sir James Matthew Barrie was shortly known as J.M. Barrie. He was born in 1860 and died in 1937. This book consists 144 pages and 17 chapters. Author has most of the part author has wrote in written form to understand the reader, and he have given some pictures like main characters like Peter Pan, Wendy, Captain Hook. Before entering into the story, I have to mention the main characters in the story. They are Peter Pan, the boy who never wishes to grow up; Wendy, the daughter of Mr. Darling and Mr. Lana. They was married in the starting of the story. Let's enter into the story. Before an year they are getting married. After an year they are getting a baby named Wendy. After another year they are getting another baby, twins. They were known as John and Michael. They are very naughty. They will think whatever they have to do, they will climb that. One day when they was in nursery, they saw a shadow without human. They went to catch it, but it had disappeared. Another day they saw the same shadow in the nursery. They went to catch it, but they can't. After a year they saw the same shadow. With the help of Wendy, they had caught the shadow. The backside of the shadow is Peter Pan, the boy who never wishes to grow up. They had many questions like who is he, what is his name, from where he belongs to. Like that, many questions they had. He was from Neverland, and when he was a small boy, her mother did not took care of him. So some fairies came and adopted him, and they learned him some magics and learned to fly. So on another day, Wendy saw Peter Pan. Peter Pan asked, "Are you willing to visit my house?" Wendy said, "Yeah, of course." So Peter Pan had a friend named Tinkerbell. She is an fairy. She said some magic spells. After they began to fly, they went to Neverland. But they when entered to Neverland, they heard some shootings of fire. The army was led by Captain Hook. He is the only one enemy of Peter Pan in Neverland. So Peter Pan went to fight with them. In this camp, Wendy and her brothers Tinkerbell, the four of them went to Peter Pan's house. While going, Tinkerbell the fairy left them and went to Peter Pan's house. Peter Pan had 6 brothers. Their name was commonly known as Tootles. They can shoot anything without aim and closing their eyes. So they went. Tinkerbell was jealous of Wendy because first Tinkerbell only was a friend of Wendy, Peter Pan, and when Wendy was known of Peter, so Peter Pan was friendly with Wendy. So Wendy said to the brothers, shoot the bird. But when they saw it from down, it was looking like a bird. They shot it. It was poked in her necklace. When she fell down, they saw it is a girl. When Peter Pan arrived, they came in front of her and she was hidden by the 6 boys. So Peter Pan said, I am having an good news for you. So they asked, what is the good news, Peter Pan? So they said, the good news is my friend Wendy had came to visit my house. So they asked, is this Wendy? And she was little asleep. So he gave some water to her. Then she woke up. They had built a house for Peter Pan, Wendy, her brothers, and Peter Pan's brothers. While at one day when Peter Pan was sleeping, Captain Hook entered to this house and poured some poisonous water in his tablets. At that time he had woke up. In a second, Captain Hook has ran from there. So he went to drink the tablet. That time he heard a sound like a bell. The backside of the door is Tinkerbell. She said, in this poisonous tablet, poisonous is mixed. So don't drink it. But Peter Pan did not listen to her and went to drink. But in that time, Tinkerbell came in front of him and drank whole the poisonous tablet. She felt some asleep. So she went to Peter Pan's bed and felt asleep and she went to sleep. Then he heard and Peter Pan was thought that when fairies was believed by children, they will be alright. When they were not believed, they will die. So suddenly he went to every children dream and asked, "Are you believing in fairies?" Most of the children said, "We like fairies and we believe on fairies." So now Tinkerbell was alright. Peter Pan went to say that Tinkerbell has saved his life. When he opened the door, no one was there. So he got afraid. And He thought that Captain Hook must kidnap them, so he went to the ship. The battle started, and storm of thunder came and segregated the ship into two parts. On one part of the ship, most of the pirates are sank under the water, and the other part of the ship, Peter Pan and pirate Captain Hook are fighting now. At that time, a crocodile came. A crocodile is the main enemy of Peter Pan. He always, when he was fighting one day with Peter Pan, he had gave one of his hand food for that crocodile. It had swallowed the hand with the watch. So when the crocodile arrives near them, he can hear the advice given by the clock, tick tock tick. So that time Peter Pan will move from the Captain Hook will move from the way. So when the crocodile entered the ship, there is no way to move out of the ship. So the crocodile has ate fully him. So in this gap, Peter Pan's brothers, Wendy's brothers, they went to Wendy's house. And now Wendy is a grown-up girl. At that time, Wendy gave a locket to Peter Pan. When he forgot him, he will be senseless and thoughtless. When he did not forget him, he will be happy and senseless. This book is applicable for reading more than 6 years and below 12 years. My favorite characters in this book is Peter Pan, Crocodile, and Wendy. My rating to this book is 4.5 stars because most of this book has more difficult words which I have to search in dictionary. Thank you.
I am Muhammad Imaduddin from class 7B and I am going to review the book titled The Famous Five, The Five Go Off to Camp. This book was written by Enid Blyton. Enid Blyton was an English children's writer. She was born in 11th August 1897 in London. She died in 28th November 1968. This book was first published in Great Britain in 1947 by the Hodder Children's Books. This book is a fictional story book. This book is all about 5 children who solve a mystery in the moorlands. This book has 168 pages and is divided into 19 chapters. Now we'll see about the characters in this book. So the first character is Julian. Julian is tall and strong for his age and he has a good knowledge. The next character is Dick. Dick is a quite funny character in this book and he always likes adventures. The next is Anne. Anne is a different character from the others and she doesn't like these kind of adventures. She only likes to be in indoors. The next is George. George is a girl. Her real name is Georgina. George is fearless and she couldn't control her temper when she has it. The next is Timmy. Timmy is the pet dog of George and Timmy is very obedient and very helpful. Now let me summarize this book. So Julian, Dick, George, Timmy and Anne decided to go to camp in the moorlands. They went to camp with Mr. Luffy. They were camping near a small farm and that is where they were taking food from. One day they went for a walk. They saw an old railway yard which connects with a tunnel. They went close to it. There was a watchman there. The watchman saw the children and said to them that spook trains were running here at night. He also told them to not come here from now on. But the children were so curious about the spook trains. The next day, they went to the farm. They met a boy.
His name was Jock. Jock told that there were many machineries and workers in the farm. There were many lorries in the farm too. Jock made friends with the other children. Every night, Jock, Julian, and Dick were going in search of spook trains, but they didn't find anything there. That's why Julian asked Mr. Luffy that he could take them to the nearest railway station. Mr. Luffy said, okay. So the next day, they went to the railway station, checked the map of the tunnels, and found much information about the tunnels. And they met an old worker of the tunnels too. His name was Tucky. Tucky also told many information about the tunnels. And the children got many ideas about the tunnels. So they went to the tunnel and they saw a spook train there, but they didn't find many information. The next day, George went alone to the tunnel and found the hideout of the train. Soon the others came and found George. So then they started exploring the other parts of the tunnel and found black market stuff everywhere. They also found that these spook trains were used to steal stuff at night, and these goods were loaded to the lorries. The lorries will sell these goods to other places, and this money is given to the farm. They also realized that Jock's father was making money by stealing stuff. The police came and arrested the people who were working in this. The children were very happy, and this superb adventure had finally come to an end. This story takes place in the moorlands, and the time when the children were stuck in the vent and they escaped from it was the memorable aspect in this book. This book was very thrilling, and I liked this book very much. I liked the part when the friends came to the tunnels and the thrilling escape from it. I'd like to tell it in a detailed manner. So, after George went inside the tunnel, she found the hideout of the train and hid in one of the trucks of the train. Meanwhile, the other friends came and found George. The other friends came, but they didn't look for George. They were looking for a spook train. They didn't know that George was here. So, they didn't find anything there. But soon they were caught by men, and the children knew that they were in trouble. But George was there, and George found them, and they were free. So when they were going out of the tunnel, they were men. The children knew that they were in trouble, but fortunately they saw a vent there. So they went through it, but iron bars were there, so they were stuck. The men found them and were tied up. And the children were tied up. But Mr. Luffy had already called the police, as he was worried that the children were lost. So the police came quickly and arrested the children. The children were untied and they were very happy. Now, I like to compare this book with another book. So, when I'm 9 years old, I'll read Tintin book series. I'll think that Tintin book series has the best adventure and thriller. But now, after reading this book, I now think that Tintin book series, the famous 5, has the best adventure and thriller. So, now I like to compare one character with another character in this book. So, first two are Annie and George. Annie is a polite character when she's not panicking, and whereas George is furious when the others do things without her. George likes to be in outdoors and Annie likes to be in indoors. Now I like to compare Julian and Dick. So Julian is a strong boy, whereas Dick is a casual character, and the thing which is common in both is that they too like adventures, and Julian mostly thinks about others. So I like to rate this book 5 stars because this book was very much thrilling, and I liked this book very much. I recommend people who like adventures and thrillers to read this book. Thank you for listening my book review.
Hi, this is Sanjay Tamil Silvan from grade 10B, here to give a book review. And title of my book is You Can Win, written by Shiv Khera. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Shiv Khera is trademark of this quote. He is the founder of Qualified Learning Systems in USA. He is also a good educator, business consultant, and also an entrepreneur. He is author of 17 books, which includes his world-famous book, You Can Win. This book is sold around 3.7 million copies all over the world, written in 21 languages. Now, let us move into this book. This book contains 13 chapters. In each chapter, the author explains every lessons with beautiful stories, and at the end of each chapter, there is a lesson plan which the readers can make use of it. The first chapter is Importance of Attitude. The author starts this chapter with a beautiful story, and the story goes like this. Once there was a balloon seller who used to sell balloons for his livelihood. Whenever the job was dull, he used to release a helium-filled balloon which rose his sales. One day, a small boy saw all colors of balloons except black. He asked the balloon seller, will a black balloon too fly? Understanding the question of the boy, the balloon seller replied gently, My child, it is not about the color of the balloon. It is what inside that makes it goes up. The same principle applies to our lives too. It is what inside that makes count, and what inside that makes us goes up is attitude. Our attitude contributes to success. A research from Harvard University states that when a person gets a promotion or a job, 85% of time it is because of their attitude. The rest 15% of time is only because of their knowledge, facts and figures they have on that particular job. It is interesting that our 100% of dollars contributes only to 15% of our success. This book, You Can Win, is all about the rest 85%, that is attitude. The success of attitude, regardless of the chosen field, the next is TQP. The author tells about TQP, Total Quality People. They are the people with good character, integrity, and positive attitude. When our surroundings and friends are positive and good, our attitude always be good. And when our surroundings and when our friends are negative, our attitude obviously becomes negative. In this chapter, the author tells a beautiful story. That is, a Calgary tower, which is 990 meters high, is of 10,000 tons. Approximately 6,300 tons is below the ground. That is its basement. From this, what we can understand is the tallest buildings too have greatest foundations. And what about success? It is attitude. The factors that determine our attitude. The author tells about EEE, that is environment, education, and experience. In this chapter, the author tells about positive attitude and negative attitude. Let us move into the second chapter, that is how to build a positive attitude. If you are a negative attitude people, by reading this chapter, you can build or you can grow your attitude from negative to positive or from neutral to positive. The author tells about 8 steps. The first step is change your focus. Most of the time, when your focus is on negative things, our attitude always becomes negative. And when your focus is on positive things, it always becomes positive. The second is continuous The second is continuous education. In this book, in this second step, the author tells a beautiful story. That is, there is a John woodcutter who is working for a company since for the past 5 years and got no rise. The company appointed a person, Bill. He got rose within 2 years. John got sad and asked them why, asked his boss, why I'm here working for 5 years, didn't get any increment or promotion. Bill, who came before 2 years, got promotion. The boss said that we are result-oriented company. When your result is more, or when your outcome is more, you will be promoted. John went and worked hard and hard. Day and night he worked, but still can't compete Bill. And he finally went and asked Bill, how you got promotion within 2 years, but I'm since here for 5 years, I can't get any promotion. Bill said, after cutting every tree, I used to take 2 to 3 minutes gap for sharpening my axe. Bill asked John, recently, when did you sharpen your axe? John said, before 5 years. From the story, what we can understand is, John don't have 5 years of experience. He have the experience of first year for 5 times. The third step is stay away from negative influences. Most of the young or teenagers have a goal and wanted to be successful, but they fail because of their negative influences. That is, negative people are being friend with negative peoples, are addicted to pornography, alcoholics, those things. The next step is now let us move into third chapter. The third chapter is about success. The qualities that makes us successful people are desire, commitments, hard work, character, positive belief, habit of doing things, and be a lifelong student and a mentor. Let us move into the next chapter, or the chapter which is motivation. There are 2 types of motivation. One is internal based motivation and the other is external based motivation. Internal based motivation is the motivation that comes from us without any fear or something. The next is external based motivation. The external based motivation are of 2 types. The first is fear based motivation. When you are fear of something which if you didn't do that thing, or you will be hired, or you will be fired or removed, you will do that, right? That is called fear based motivation. The next is intensive based motivation. Intensive based motivation is about rewards. That is rewards. They'll give rewards for doing things. That is called intensive based motivation. There is one good in intensive based motivation and one bad in intensive based motivation. The good thing is, when you complete a particular task or an event or a thing, you will get reward plus reward for the job what you have done. The bad thing is, when intensive is removed, you get unmotivated. In this chapter, the author tells about 4 motivations from a person when he is hired and when he is fired. The first is motivated, ineffective. This is the time when a person joins a job and have the ability and approach to do things, but he can't because he is new to the job and doesn't know what he have to do. The next step is motivated and effective. This is the productive period. That is, a person is motivated and he knew well about the job too. That is that second stage, motivated and effective. The third stage is dismotivated or unmotivated, ineffective. This is the time when a person have no motivations or no nothing. He'll simply do the job for staying in a position. The author tells about the last stage, that is unmotivated and ineffective. This is the time when when a person is fired from a job. He won't do things and he don't have any motivation to. So he is fired from the job. The next chapter is goal setting. The author tells our goal setting should be smart. Smart in the sense specific, measurable, realistic, and time bound. Sorry, the smart refers to that specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. This all contributes to our success or goal setting. This how if you should plan your goals, and this is the how you should set your goals. Your goal should be smart. That is, the author tells about that smart, right? And it should be realistic, or you should put lots and lots of efforts to achieve things. So your goal setting should be smart. I conclude my speech, or I conclude my review by saying that in this book, the author tells about step-by-step improvement to attain your success. And he have a lesson plan too. From this, you can practically work out. This book can't be, or after reading this book, you can't achieve success within 1 year or 2 years. You have an action plan. If you follow that, sure you will get success. Thank you.
I am Hanshani of grade 10, here to give a review on the book You Can Read Anyone by David J. Lieberman. This book was published in the year 2014 by Jacob Publications. The author, David J. Lieberman, is an well-known author in New York Times, an internationally recognized leader in the field of human behavior and interpersonal relationships. His books have been used by FBI, Fortune 500 companies, and government corporations in more than 25 countries. His works have been featured in publications all around the world, and he has appeared as a guest expert in more than 200 TV programs. Have you ever wished you could peer into someone's mind and what he is thinking? You could actually, by using a highly advanced psychologically based system. This book is not a collection of recycled ideas about body language. This book does not tell you how to reach conclusions based on how someone folds his hands or ties his shoelace. The principle herein are not tricks or techniques that only work on some people or not sometimes. These are proven psychological techniques which work on every people and almost any situation. Does this mean you'll be able to read anyone with perfect precision? No, this is not 100% foolproof. However, you will gain a statistical advantage in every encounter. By using these psychological techniques, you can not only level the playing ground, but also create an automatic advantage. This book consists of 15 chapters. The first half of the book consists of 7 chapters, and the second half of the book consists of 8 chapters. In the first half, you will learn how to speed read people's mind and read their thoughts, emotions, and feelings. In the second half of the book, you can learn how to create a near perfect profile of a person and find what he or she will do next. Each chapter comes with lot of real life situations which helps you read the techniques easier. Let me start with the first chapter. How to find whether a person is lying or not. To find out whether a person is lying, when you ask directly, he would become in a defensive situation, which is impossible to find the truth. What you can do is ask a question which is not accusing but allude to the situation. Let us take an example given by the author in this book. A sales manager figures out that some of his office supplies have been gone missing. he doubts an employee in his office. To find out whether she is stealing the office supplies, he cannot directly ask that. If he asks directly, she would go to a defensive situation and not say the truth. What he can do is ask her tips to find out who is the thief. If she is interested in the topic and interested in the conversation, she is not guilty. But if she feels uneasy and tries to change the topic, she is guilty. The author gives another technique to find the who is lying. In this technique, you can find who is lying by saying fake information. Let us take an example given in this book of a detective investigating a suspect. When a detective investigates a suspect, he changes one of the information as false information. That is, he says that the car which the suspect used just crashed into another car. But what really happened is the car did not crash in the another car. If the suspect surprises about hearing the information, he is guilty. But if he doesn't get surprised, he is not guilty because he doesn't know which is true and which is false information because he was not present in the situation. Let's go to the second chapter. In this chapter, you can find whether a person likes it or not. A person is attracted to the stimulus which was present in the situation where a question was asked. If a person is attracted, he has a favorable response over that question. But if a person repels over the stimulus, it means that he has an unfavorable response over that information. Let's take an example given in this book. A person is listening to your presentation. You both are seated in a blue chair. After a while, you both are taken to a new place where there are 2 gray chairs and 2 blue chairs. If the person chooses the blue chair, he has a favorable response to your presentation. But if the person chooses the gray chair, he has an unfavorable situation, so unfavorable response to your presentation. This book helps you to accomplish your objectives in your life. Indeed, by reading this book, you can learn about the human nature. As a result, you will come to know, you will have an insight of yourself, and you would be better and a healthier person. Thank you.
My name is Abhiniti. I am from grade 7A. Today I am going to say a book review topic on Thomas Alva Edison. This book written by Brian Williams. This book published on 2001. This book was when I am reading, it is so good. And Brian Williams born on May 5, 1959. This book was published by Harry Potter. And Brian Williams worked as American journalist. He retired as television news anchor. Thomas Alva Edison was born on February 11, 1847. In this book, totally it carries 48 chapters and 48 pages and 24 chapters. I will say from first chapter. I learned in first chapter about Thomas Alva Edison's childhood. When he was a childhood, he faced many difficulties. When he was studying 3rd standard, he had a deaf problem. That's why the teacher write a letter to her mom like, don't send to your children to school because he had a deaf problem. He cannot hear anything when we are teaching. Please kindly keep in your home and teach it. That's why her mother said, but
Thomas Alva Edison, mother said to Thomas Alva Edison that you are very brilliant. That why your teacher said that no need to send to school. You can keep in home and you can teach it. That why teacher said that no need to send to home. After a few years, her mom was dead, and Thomas Alva Edison found a letter from her mom's home, and he take that letter and study. That time he understood that the teacher wrote like, I have a deaf problem. That way your children was deaf. That way no need to send to school. After that, seeing that letter, Thomas was so cried and said that, oh mom, you're very great in the world. After he pushed to make anything and he should come up, because his childhood even he faced many problems like deaf problem, and he lost her mother, like that. That why after a few years he only pushed to make anything. That time only he found that I can make a bulb and I can show to this world. That time only Thomas was making a bulb and was very difficulties when making bulb. He was failures in making bulb thousands of time. After thousands of time only he made a bulb, and we all using now a bulb. Like he named that bulb as help. It is a not real name bulb. It known as Hulk only. And when Thomas Alva Edison after making bulb, he made a thousands of projects that to invert in world, but he did not invert that thousands also in our world, but he invented some things in our world. And Thomas Alva Edison, why want to become a rich man? Thomas Alva Edison did not hate anyone. First time he made a bulb and he called a chief guest to show the bulb. That time the bulb was broken, because when a home worker was taking and coming without knowing, he fall and it was broke. That why he was so sad. But Thomas Alva Edison did not scold her home worker. Thomas Alva Edison said that when only one time happiness in our life, don't miss that. But that was scolding a worker of. But Thomas Alva Edison said that no problem, I can make a bulb again. But happiness is one time only, don't hate him. When near even Thomas Alva Edison had a company making machines. That why one time without knowing that company was fired. But also he laughed and said that no problem, I can build another company, because I have amount, but I cannot say that it's so lost for me. That why don't put your head. Thomas Alva Edison said to all that never you will get lost, but don't put your head down, never. And when I am also studying this story, I understood about Thomas Alva Edison's childhood, and when he was childhood, he faced many difficulties in life. But also after thousands of difficulties, after a lakhs of difficulties, he came up and he showed his life up. But Thomas Alva Edison is not there, but Thomas Alva Edison history is there. It was so amazing when I'm reading. I am recommending to this book to all. I was so I read this book after I was so happy to hear these words. I also understood that in my life many difficulties, but I will not put my head down. You also follow this one. You can also read this book, and you can get from this any information and many this author said about Thomas Alva Edison. And when I am reading this book, I was cried because steply Thomas Alva Edison childhood and many things was started to me to cry. And when you're reading this book, also you will feel this. And in this book, again one part I missed was this book.